You're listening to a bonus episode of the Apparelist podcast, where we talk about high-level topics that are relevant to the decorated apparel community. Tune in monthly for regular episodes and enjoy this special edition. Welcome, everyone, to this special bonus episode of the Apparelist podcast. The holidays are upon us, and many decorators are still cranking out those last-minute rush orders. They're still feeling the chaos, but my hope is for all of you listening that you're taking some time to enjoy the season in whatever capacity possible. And perhaps this special episode will bring a smile to your face. You can always have it playing and listening in the background while you work. Today, I am sitting down with some of the, quote, OGs of DTG, as this group likes to call themselves. While many people have played an instrumental role in the growth and progress of direct-to-garment printing, today's guests have not only known each other for quite some time, but they've also seen the technology come into its own from a variety of angles. So without further ado, let's bring in our guests. So joining us today, we'll walk through everybody one by one. We have Deanna Aribe, the marketing and training manager at DTG Connection.
Hey there.
We also have Eric Deem, garment and textile print sales manager at Millcraft.
Hi, Cassie.
We also have joining us today, Gerald Cantalupo Jr., the owner, consultant of Breakthrough Clothing.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Cassie, for having me on.
Of course. And we've also got on today Dean Biskin. He's the creative and marketing director at iGroup Technologies.
Yo. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, we have Anthony Creek, president and director of Creek Manufacturing LLC. Welcome, everybody. I cannot wait to hear your stories. I'm not going to lie. Deanna gave me a little warning before we recorded this podcast that it could get crazy, which I'm really looking forward to. And in that sense, I'm really curious because it seems like y'all have known each other for quite some time. And tell me about y'all's history. How did y'all get to meet each other? Deanna, do you want to kick things off?
Most of us mainly met on this forum called T-shirt forums. This is like way before we had Facebook groups. This was probably back in like 2011, 2012, you think, guys?
Yeah, 2012, I think exact. That's when I started my print shop. So
Dean's the newbie though. So to the
he's the newest one.
All right.
Well, so tell me about that. Did most of you, Eric, maybe you can kick things off. Did most of you start in a shop? Like, what's your story?
I think that probably all of us at some point in time have ran a print shop. I've also worked with multiple manufacturers. So because of that, we've had rivalries at on the show floor. And then obviously when the show is over, we're all having a drink together and chatting it up about the industry, which is how we've all grown to become such great friends with each other. So.
And we only have really nice, polite things to say about each other too. Hugs and kisses at all times.
Yeah, it's funny. Like at a point in time, a lot of us did not like each other. Not because we were competitors. Well, even though they considered me like the new person on the block on the T-shirt forum, I actually had an account since like 2006 when I first had a printer, but I wasn't starting to get involved with everything because I just got recently hired to a company called Candid. And when I started doing the marketing coordination, I started answering the questions on there because we just had released a new printer. And, when a new printer releases, there are going to be disgruntled people that's going to be complaining. So I had to deflect all of that on the T-shirt forum. And at that time, they're just like, oh, this girl's like an implant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And then most of them realized like my story that it actually was a printer before then. So then they started giving me respect. And that's how we kind of, became more friends.
I always liked you, Deanna. I don't know if anybody ever said. Eric, that's another case. But I've known Eric. Out of everybody, I've known Eric the longest because, as he said, he had a print shop and I had a print shop. I'm still running my print shop and all. But me and him both used the same equipment back in the day. And that's how we initially met, using the famous All-American Neo Flex version 1, but I believe Eric and I, from the beginning, we knew we had some knowledge and we were making some pretty cool things happen. And as Deanna brought up with the T-shirt forums, we were just always on there kind of just helping people and giving guidance like that. So so that's been about, I guess, like 12 years.
Dean actually purchased my print shop essentially when I actually went to go work for All American. So Dean decided to get into digital at that point, more hardcore.
Well, I had actually bought out a print shop because I come from design. It's my background, graphic design, and college for it and stuff and studio life. But I wanted to get hands on. So I bought out a print shop in 2012. And then they only had like a 541, which was one of the original direct to garment machines from Brother that didn't print white. But then I jumped on the t-shirt forums and started, just being an ass on the forums because that's what I do. But no, yeah. And then in 2013, I think Eric, I bought, he was closing down his shop to go work for a manufacturer, and I bought that. And then, yeah, the Neoflex and Gerald, and yeah, we all tied back that way.
I think one of the big things that sets us apart is in the screen printing world, everything is a big secret. And nobody wants to share their techniques. And Deanna and Gerald and Anthony and myself, we've all been very forthcoming with what we've learned.
Except me. Yeah, I keep all my secrets still.
You do, very close to the chest, because you're learning from us still.
Oh, okay.
That is truth. That is truth.
But I mean, it would be to the point to where we're getting so bombarded with, not even customers, but just people in general, reaching out for questions. And we set the tone to change a little bit of the way the market ran. Because what do I care what somebody's doing in Des Moines, Iowa? If I'm doing something in Indianapolis and I'm able to figure out a process or a technique or a specific brand of garment or what have you, and I share that information, all that's doing is elevating the entire market instead of keeping all of that so tight to the chest where now all of a sudden the marketplace stays stagnant. We're in a very fast growing marketplace. Look at what's happened in just the last, look at 10 years. We've gone from Epson, off the shelf, hacked together printers to now multi-million-dollar direct to garment printers. It's pretty phenomenal to see happen. And I think that is something that we all have brought to the table. And I think that's something that the camaraderie we have is because of that, because we're all very giving in that way, at least.
I still get people that ask me questions about Neoflex stuff to this day.
Too. At shows, I get approached about the Neoflex.
Dude, I still have 2 Neoflexes, and I still believe it's one of the best machines ever created on the planet. Oh God.
Yeah.
But, but like with what, Eric and Dean saying, being at the industry so new, right? Like us helping another person, especially say on the t-shirt forums where it all kind of started, there's just so little people doing it. When I got into DTG, there wasn't another DTG shop within 1 hour of me. Like it was like, I don't care helping somebody else. It's such a small industry, and it's still small. Clearly there's way more screen print shops than there are digital shops, but there has been a great growth. And I think that has to do with, the amount of help we put out there. Because, back in say 2010, 11, 12, when I was getting into it, Eric, you can comment on this, there was probably a 35% to 50% people who bought DTG, tried it for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then said, I'm throwing this away. All it did was cost me money. And now I'm not getting back into it. And, maybe now they're back in because Brother created a machine and Epson created a machine and so forth. But it's like, yeah, help these people, help people, let people grow, keep the industry alive. If we don't help anybody, the industry is going to die, and then we're not going to have much business. And, everybody's going to have their own kind of little things anyways. Like there's things that I do here that I tell people, hey, if you do this, it might look better. And they still don't do it. So, there's things that I do. There's some little secrets I keep, I ain't going to lie. Like I got to have my little, my little tricks and stuff like that here. But the ghost for real, game changer right there. And, but yeah, like it's like, help other people, let them grow. There's a numerous round of people that I helped who then were like, hey, I'm backed up on orders. Can you help me print? And I got print jobs from it. It's like, I believe in that karma and helping others, and it comes back. So yeah.
That mentality is exactly what I do here with my new position, because you're right. We help keep the industry alive, keep the advancements going. It's like DTG gets a bad rap, and it's mainly because of pre-treating, and pre-treating never got the forefront and the shining star that it needs to be from the jump. Gerald, you were saying that there were people in the beginning that bought a machine and got right out of it. There's people still to this day that buy brand new printers and get into it, get in over their head because they don't know what they're doing. They're sold a magical story of, hey, take a picture. press print, you're good to go.
True.
Like it's that
Right.
easy. And then they
True.
realize, oh, there's steps to this and there's more to know. So by offering information, offering help, offering horror stories and guidance and stuff, it just helps the industry get a better foundation and be more stable to get larger in the future. So,
well, I think what's interesting is that in my role now, I work with a lot more industrialized commercial paper printers that are diversifying into the apparel space. And DTG is a great way for them to take on those walk-ins, that on-demand, that web to print, that they're used to kind of doing some of that stuff already with their digital copier type of machinery. But, we have to go into it in a consultative manner. It's not a transactional process. It's with some of the other, like with what Dean does and what some of the stuff that Anthony does. It's very much I need a bottle of pretreatment. You ship them a bottle of pretreatment. I need ink. We ship them some ink. I need to know exactly what your plans are, how you're going to use the equipment, where's your shop going to be set up at, do you have proper climate control, do you have all of these other factors in place for you to be successful? Because if all we're doing is selling the box, which is what's been the status quo for years, we're never going to really advance and grow the way that the marketplace should grow. Because when I do put machinery in some of these large commercial, industrial, digital shops, they think, well, I know how to print. Well, you know how to load paper into tray number 5, tell it that you need 15 copies and for a saddle stitch and hit go. And there's so much more involved when you're printing with textiles. And I think that people take it for granted. And so when we start doing a lot more, consultative level service and training, that's what sets people apart and being successful or not being successful. They go to the trade show, they see the glitz and the glamour, they see the smoke and the flames, and they think, "Ooh, I can do that." And it looks easy. And once you get to our level of experience of loading and unloading machines and knowing what to do and how things operate, any of us can walk up to any DTG printer and produce a show quality level print because we understand the actual mechanics and physical processes involved in what we're looking at. And a lot of people don't want to train on that. They don't want to talk about that. They're afraid that that's going to scare people off because this is commercial printing equipment. This isn't a Cricut from Hobby Lobby, as much as people want to pretend like it is. And I think
it's like the companies that do sell, so their focus is selling the box, right? That's a one-time sale, probably with high profit margins, which is great. But if they get burnt out or don't know what the hell they're getting into, any consumable sales or residual profits from them is out the window. And it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. And then you also are setting up a bunch of people who think they get the overall picture that DTG is not where it's at. It's a broken process where it's actually often comes down to the training is broken or the proper understanding of what exactly you're getting into has been broken.
Right. Like, I'm a training manager now and, it's frustrating. I spend hours with a customer more than the initial training. I do follow-up trainings and some of them still, it doesn't stick. And then they start to blame the company, but really a lot of it is because they don't want to listen or they end up going online looking for help rather than, asking the manufacturer directly. And, I'm completely all for peer-to-peer help. Like it's something actually really close to my heart because when I owned a printer back in 2006, all I had was a t-shirt forum because I had the same printer as Anthony. We had a T-Jet, like one of the very first printers that came out. There was like no training. My dad was cheap. He didn't want to send me out to Arizona. So I had to watch like a video and I kept falling asleep through the video because it didn't tell me anything. And I had to figure it out for myself for 2 weeks. And then, as time progressed and the company dissolved, I believe it was like less than like 2 or 3 years afterward. And so there was absolutely like no help. Like they shut the doors. It was completely gone. And all we had was the forums. And during that time, I had a virus on my computer. So I lost like a patch for the software. And I went on the forums. I was pleading with people. I'm like, hey, all I need is this patch. Can someone send it to me? And like nobody helped me. And that was the only reason why my printer went down. And I stopped printing for myself after then. And so, when I worked in Anajet and Rico, it was really important for me to help people. And, a lot of you guys can agree with me. We have lost a lot of sleep helping people off hours. It was like it's a 24-hour job and people don't understand that. And we do that out of the goodness of our own hearts because we don't want to see other people fail, and then sometimes, newer people that join the group that are like, oh, who do these people think we are? We're not trying to say that we're better than other people. We're just trying to be out there because we want to be that voice for people who don't have one or who are looking for one.
I mean, I'll be honest and say I am better than other people at DTG printing. So I will say that.
Jesus.
I think
and we thought Eric had a big head. Come on.
I mean,
shut up, Dean.
He's the self-proclaimed champ. So
I mean, I do have like a decent amount of like.
Can you prove that? Because I don't see anything on screen. That shows, so like the bell. I don't see anything. I don't see any printing.
Dude,
United
I'll go get it right now, bro.
You.
I'll go get it.
Okay,
right now.
So I will admit though, out of all of us here, Gerald does print the most.
Anthony, tell me about where you're at right now. You still doing a lot of printing? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I do a lot of nonprofit stuff. A customer of mine, they have a foundation that helps people out with drug addiction. So I do the printing for him, and just little stuff, family and friends and stuff like that. I don't really do commercial printing anymore. It's just too tedious, and people want to use some type of photo off of their phone that needs to be edited all kinds, and they think that I still have the time to do all that. Come and sit down for 3 hours and make $20 off one shirt.
Yeah,
it just doesn't add up anymore.
I think that's starting to get better though, right? I mean, now that we have with like Printavo, and we have a lot more shopping cart experiences that have a lot of built-in, even like Printify and stuff like that, where there's a lot more for the end user to do on their own without wasting our time, because it's the same problem before, right? I mean, it was come over with a bar napkin with shit written on it. Here's what I want here. Put this here. I need 3 shirts by noon. And it's like, you're okay. It's gonna be $300. I charge, $20 a minute to do graphic art. And they're like, oh no, I don't want that. Well, then, bring me quote camera ready art and we'll print it for $10 a shirt.
Now with AI, I mean, AI and DTG are symbiotic, and
some of the stuff that's mid-journey,
the next 3 years is going to be incredible. It's awesome. It's a great, and DTG in general is such a baby. Like the industry itself is growing, and I like where it's going nowadays. It's getting there. It's still not.
Well, I think it's changed tracks.
Good. Yeah, but the artwork side of it with AI, it's just. I'm so excited for what the future holds. And you have everybody talk, oh, DTF's killing DTG and blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, cool. All right. We'll see what happens in a couple of years.
I see a lot of people reverting back to DTG again.
Oh, yeah.
People see like, oh, no pre-treat. So let me do that, because pre-treating does suck. And a goal, what the different pre-treat companies would be, let's create something that is like, has a very big window. It doesn't stain. It's very easy to use. That's always been like the goal. But all these people just jump to DTF, and, DTF's fine. You're doing a sleeve print, you're doing a hat, maybe a left chest. But, I don't have one. I do some DTF when I'm doing like sleeves or like little neck tags or something. But every one of my like fashion clients that have like a retail store, I'm like, hey, tell me which one you like better. And everyone is like, please don't ever send me DTF. That is like, I'm never going to put that in my store. It works for your, 6-year-old's birthday party t-shirt and a onesie and stuff like that. But to be like, yeah, that's all we're going to do and send out to, your customers that need work shirts and stuff, like, it's just not feasible. It's not a one-stop shop, like, you can still do so much more, I believe, with the DTG part of it.
Well, they serve 2 different purposes, right? I mean, that's why, we sell Epson DTG and we sell Mamaki DTF, because depending on what, again, like I go back to the consultative aspect of things. Like we know as pros in this and OGs, right? We know what should be used for which service. So if your core business is print on demand, somebody's walking in with a flash drive and wants 5 shirts for the family reunion this weekend, we're not going to DTF that, because we have to run 10 linear feet of film. It's a gang run process. It's not designed for onesie twosies in an on-demand model. It's also not designed, in my opinion, I don't like it on cotton. I mean, you guys have probably seen it too, where you get too much puckering and stuff. But, Gerald, to your point though, I mean, it does open up the opportunities for getting into the athletic wear, being able to do names and numbers much faster for baseball teams or what have you. Those things are gigantic compared to what it is for a DTG shop to be able to do. So, when we're talking with shops, it is definitely which road do we go? Well, I want DTF. Well, why do you want DTF? Well, because I don't have the DTG, or I don't have to pre-treat. You still have to powder it. You still have this big oven. You still have all these other factors at play that don't necessarily come into the conversation. And they're like, oh shit, I didn't know about all that. And then they realize that, you mean I can't. So people always get hung up. They forget about the fact, and it's not talked about. And I know that we probably lose sales because we're much more honest about it, because I don't have to sell you a box for us to keep the lights on. Right. So I'd much rather sell you a solution that you're happy with, and I don't have to hear you complain that I gave you something that wasn't going to fit your needs. So we really go through here and diagnose what is their actual end game. And when somebody says, well, they forget about the fact that when you print a DTF print on a roll to roll, that very first print that comes off that machine, it takes an hour or whatever to get all the way through the oven and to the other end where you can actually use it and apply it as a transfer. So what are you going to do? So if you don't have any more jobs to do, now what? You're going to waste 10 feet of film. You're going to try to, it's not efficient in that way. And that's where DTG comes into play, or do it cut sheet DTF, with your DTG printer.
Not only that, but people don't like to pre-treat. Well, there's a post-treat, and that's the powder. So, that totally knocks that one out too.
It doesn't save any steps. It's the same.
No, the steps are the same.
My whole thing is open up for more application. There's no doubt about that. But
direct to substrate is always going to be the preferred method, regardless of what you're doing. The whole process of transferring again is another step. It's a whole nother level of variables.
If you don't have any color profiling experience, you're going to get colors coming out totally messed up and way off. You're not going to be able to hit, the colors you want to. So it poses all kinds of problems. And that equipment to do the profiling is very expensive and time consuming. And for a newbie, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, like I see like people in like the Facebook groups nowadays, they're like saying, people are leaving DTG in droves, to go to direct to film. I don't want to say it online, but it's like, well, it's because those people failed in DTG. And that can also stem from a training problem to begin with, or they were oversold something that they were not capable of, of taking care of.
Well, how many times have you guys? And I know before you worked for DTGC, Deanna, you were independent like I was before I went to Millcraft, and people would buy machinery. And obviously, you've always been on the Anajet Rico side of things, and I've always been on more of the Epson Brothers side of things. Right. But people would buy a machine. They go to a trade show, they buy the equipment. They get the machine gets shipped. They watch a few videos and they think that the world is coming to an end. They're making all these payments. They can't produce a quality print. They called me. I come down, and 20 minutes later, we're producing show quality prints because they didn't understand the processes. And once they understood it, it's hugs and kisses and high fives and, oh my God, you saved the baby from the drown. It's amazing. How
I really feed your ego there, huh, Eric?
No, shut up.
No, but we are very helpful.
It was a life-changing.
Huge, though. That training is gigantic for their success. People will think that, I got a piece of crap printer. You bought an Epson. You didn't buy a piece of crap printer. There's something else going on here other than you think that you were sold a bill of goods. No, there's something else going on. So let's figure out what the process is. I've had shops that I've gone into, they've complained about, they were sold a machine that said that we could do 20 shirts an hour. I'm just using that as an example. Well, and they only get 10 shirts an hour out of it, and they start complaining about it. When I walk in, I realize, their heat press is on the complete other side of the shop. Their pre-treatment machine is on another side of the shop, and they're walking around with wet shirts for 2 minutes every single print. It's like, you guys understand, you've just lost hours out of your day of production because you didn't have the shop set up properly.
It's always like all of the information is never provided at the beginning. And I think we all come into play to fill in those gaps because we have the experience, we've been in it so long, and now we sort of have insider information to share and say, hey, you were sold the idea of press, print, make money. Well, yes, it can technically be that simple, but there's all these other factors that you have to consider, So let's talk about those. And then you will feel a lot more comfortable and more successful in what you're doing. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
I get phone calls all the time. Like, I can't even tell you how many times people have called and said, wow, I just learned more in this 10, 20-minute conversation than I did in all of my training when I actually bought the equipment, etc. In an ideal world, and I think as the industry gets older and goes on, training like that, people will realize, hey, we need to set these people up a little better and have them understand more so that we're not getting so many phone calls or we're not getting so much bad feedback and all the negativity out of it. You know, where it is now, it's still new and people are out there just wanting to sell the box, and we're in there to try to fill the gaps.
And it's the Wild West with DTF right now. And I think that all of us, when we've all done like Printing United, we've all had booths at Printing United. And so much of what's going on when people walk into our booths is that one of them, they might know one of us, or they've heard about one of us, or, hey, oh, you're so-and-so. Okay. They've seen our name on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever. And then we'll spend hours talking to them about their shop. It's not even about our product or what we do. It's helping them understand how to be more successful with what they've already gotten. That's something that they're not going to get from other people. I think that, the core group of us here are pretty good about doing that. And I think that's what kind of sets us apart and why we all get along so well. Right.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but like the main reason why DTGC hired me was because, I'm a good trainer. And, as many as as a side business, I offer post-training for RICO customers who did not get sufficient training to begin with. And then I get paid to retrain them on how to use their machine and their software. So, it's such a big thing that customers, sometimes they don't quite understand. I've done so many trainings where their eyes will gloss over after 10 minutes. I've had some people quit halfway, and then, I have to keep encouraging them, we got to keep trying, and we have a new printer that's been out for a few months called the X2. And, with that, our success rate is a lot higher because, again, I spend hours and hours with the customer training them rather than just sending them off after 30 minutes.
When they're actually paying attention to you instead of like looking you in the eyes and then thinking about like 20 million other things and not really paying attention to you. When you're talking to somebody and, they're looking at you, but they're not listening.
Right.
I can't tell you how many setups I've done with printers, and like I'll call them out. I'm like, hey, you're not really here. You're present, but you're not really here. So a lot of this stuff is going to go out one ear and out the other, and you're not going to retain any.
Getting trained by and it's not just us. And I mean, we have other colleagues that we all know very well that, would be just as OG in this space. I mean, like Jared Hill. Okay. Another super great guy. We all love him, and worked side by side with him, and to be trained by any of us, should not be taken lightly. It's not like we've just hired somebody off the street that doesn't know anything. They're rereading an SOP that was built by somebody else. We all bring real world experience to the table. And I think that is gigantic to people, is being able to retain and understand what we're talking about. Because we are able to give them some of those tricks that Gerald and I know, and Dean knows, and Deanna knows, and Anthony knows, that they're not going to be able to get just from watching a YouTube video. And I think that's invaluable. And I charge for it. I mean, we don't, when somebody's buying a machine from us, if training is out of their budget, then don't buy from me, because I don't want to deal with, the lack of your productivity. I don't want to have to, hear you. Well, I didn't know how to use it. You didn't teach me. But then, like for Dean, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking for you, Dean, but situations will happen with him selling pre-treatment. You'll get a phone call. Hey, Dean, I've got this new Hanes Nano shirt. So aqua blue. How much pre-treatment do I use?
Well, let me start asking some questions.
Right. But I mean, it's like, these are impossible questions. I mean, they expect you to have this catalog of knowledge. Like I can only tell you the foundations to build from. And then you have to build your own workflow and your own catalog around that. I'll teach you what you need to know to be able to diagnose and figure out what's happening. But you can't just call me and say, hey, AS Color just released a new, style. What do I do? I have not printed on every single color of every single brand to know every exact setting with the RIP software and with the pre-treatment machine. It's insane, but they get really upset when you don't know.
Well, then also
Well,
that's how we end up getting taken advantage of. Like I've had many conversations with Anthony about this. Like people start messaging you like you're their personal slave. You give a little and then they just take more, right? And like, I know like I've had to change my own personal business model, personal life. I feel for these customers, but then again, like some of them, they're texting me like 10 o'clock at night asking for help.
no,
And then I feel
Yeah,
like
and
if I
never
don't
give the
help
number
them,
out.
well, I mean, social media,
late.
it's like
but
I could wake up.
through social
Yeah, I
too,
wake up and you get there's like 10 Facebook messages of like work related, pre-treatment questions. Like, come on, like,
Yeah, I
it makes
tell
it hard.
people, I tell people like in this industry, as you guys have been talking about with training and everything. One, I think a major issue is not everybody, but a lot of trainers that go out there and set up machines, all they are technicians. Like they don't know how to print shirts. And I've been seeing a lot in some groups of people asking questions, and I literally say to them, is your machine new or used? Oh, it's new. Did somebody set it up for you? Yeah, a guy set it up for me. Did he teach you anything? Like you don't even know how to clean your capping station. You don't even know how to like shake your inks or something. Like
Run a
so
nozzle
I think
check.
people that are just been hired as technicians and they don't have that experience, like Eric was saying, like with all of us, how we all know how to print and then we all know how to, we
repair.
all yeah, and repair it. We understand the products we're using. And what I also tell people is like, look, DTG is very easy to do, but it's hard to master. Like it's very easy to take a shirt, spray pre-treat, dry it, print it, and dry it. Whether it's going to look good or not, that's up to you. How much time do you want to spend building your company? You started a business, you're the owner. You have to keep on advancing your knowledge. Too many people are like, well, I just want this, throw this and make money. In any business that you're doing, you want to build houses, you want to be a bricklayer, you want to be software engineer, whatever it is, you have to continue to educate and learn. And, when I started in this, and clearly Deanna actually started before me because I was in 2008 when I started, even though there was like t-shirt forums and stuff, there wasn't like valuable like knowledge on how to do everything. So I just started buying literally thousands of dollars of garments. And I said, what's going to happen if I spray 10 grams of pre-treat, 20 grams of pre-treat, 30 grams of pre-treat, and just testing all these different ways, looking at what shirts reacted certain ways and what ink settings am I going to do? And I do believe that's where I kind of started to gain a lot of knowledge, because if something didn't work, I then would remember, okay, yeah, when I did this aqua blue color, I also had an issue similar to the sapphire color. And what did I do? And nowadays it's just too much of, hey, I just want to load a shirt and I just want to print and make money and not think about why could an issue be happening? What can I do to fix it and how to continually, grow a company that I'm starting. With everybody moving to like multiple industries and me being blessed and able to work with some manufacturers and work with some pre-treat and ink manufacturers, I got to learn more of how that product was made. So between that and the knowledge of, just physically printing and why certain shirts do certain things, it's like really understanding now when somebody has an issue. Speaking about what Deanna said, like getting messages at like 1 a.m, it's like, I love that you want this training, but please, like, it's like 9 to like 8 p.m. maybe, we'll give you help and do the best we can. But there is some stuff you got to just do on your own. You got to spend some time, educate, watch some videos. Hopefully the videos you're watching are of knowledgeable people and not, and just, my thing is continually to learn, like educate yourself, take notes when stuff doesn't work out, so you know what things work and what things don't work in the future.
You're going to ruin shirts.
Yes.
And people need to accept that. So,
and you're going to waste money on ink
And pre-treat.
it's the learning curve. It's just part of the game.
Perhaps, guys, I hate to cut this conversation short, but perhaps that's a great place to stop. And then we could even maybe pick this up for a part 2. But what I'm getting from all of this is people need to pay attention. They need to learn. They need to invest in their education. And right now I'm going to give a shameless plug, Deanna has written an article for us. She has put together some content for Apparelist. So you can go to apparelist.com and find it. All of these guys who are on the show today, just a wealth of knowledge. So if you check the show notes that are provided below, we're going to share some information of resources, places that all of you listeners can go to find more information and connect with the right education and the right training and make sure to get you set up to be successful in direct to garment. But for now, we have to wrap the show, guys. So I just want to say huge thanks to all of you. This has been an incredible episode.
Thanks, Cassie. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cassie. I'm down for an episode too.
Me too.
Absolutely. You know, I'm just thinking, I'm like, you know
questions.
what? Part two with everybody individually. I mean, like, let's just go. Like, I love it. I love it. So anyway, head on over to apparelist.com. We've got tons of good information, tons of great content for all of you looking to continue your education. We connect you with experts like Deanna, Eric, Anthony, Gerald, and Dean to make sure that everybody is set up for success. So until next time, thanks for listening.